Hey everyone, welcome to our Surviving and Thriving Through Corona Time, our webinar series. I'm Veronica. I'm the founder of Utah Women's Retreats, and with the help of my friend Amanda with On the Go Goodness, we thought, what is a way we can be able to bring us together as women and also have some socialization, some connection, and also have speakers on to share a little tip or something on a different topic. So today we have on 4 different speakers, and I am super excited because these are women that are passionate about what they do, but they're also passionate about sharing their message with others and bringing women together as well. So today, our first speaker is going to be Robin with A Fly on My Wall, and we will try to put in the comments all of their information so you can go check them out. Most people are on Instagram. And if they're not, they can type in their website, but just so you can get to know them, because honestly, behind every business, behind every speaker is an actual person. And these women are amazing. So I just want to say a huge, huge thank you for hopping on today. And I miss you guys. I miss getting together in person, right? I don't know about y'all, but I miss it. So this is just a little way that we can get together. So Robin, let me go ahead and unmute you. And she is going to be talking about personal safety today. And let me just give a little tip for Robin, or for us. We were going to do a big event with Robin and have her come teach women self-defense. So we're going to we postponed it. So it's going to be in the future, but just keep in mind that that's coming and it will be in person. So hey, Robin, are you on?
I am. Can you see and hear me?
Yes. Okay, go ahead and take it away, my friend.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Robin. As you can see, I am camped out in my son's nursery. This is the only safe haven. At any point in time, my kids could blow through that door. So I hope the TV is keeping them sane. Again, my name is Robin Warner. I am a mother of 4. I have 4 small kids, a 6-month-old, 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and 8-year-old. Yes, birth control did not work for us. I live here in Utah County. I'm an entrepreneur. I spent the last decade owning a dance studio here in Utah County, and then I sold it last year and then started a new business, which is my online self-defense course called Safe by Robin. And the reason I got into self-defense, when I was 18 at college, I was running in broad daylight and I was attacked by a man and sexually assaulted. He is now serving a 15-year to life sentence in the state prison. And ever since that day, I focused on learning self-defense, all different kinds. I then created my own program that I taught at my dance studio for years. And then after I sold my dance studio, I thought I still want to be able to speak about self-defense and teach it, but I'm over here burning casseroles and changing diapers, and how can I still talk to all these women but still raise my family? So for the last 6 months, I created an online self-defense course. I also like to call it a personal safety course too, because a lot of people think self-defense, you go down to the local YMCA and you learn how to punch and kick for months, but this is teaching so much more. We talk about home safety, internet safety, babysitting safety, running safety, hiking safety. And then I do teach basic moves that everyone of any age, ability level can use to fight back if needed. So I launched that last month and it's been awesome. So what I do on my Instagram is I basically show my crazy mom life, dance with no bra, and then also teach you how to gouge out eyes and keep you and your kids safe. So today I wanted to talk about a couple things. The first thing, I could go on and on about personal safety and we could talk about so many different things, but I thought what would be most pertinent to us women is 3 things. One thing we're going to talk about is how to teach our children about strangers. The second thing we're going to talk about is how to keep yourself safe when you're running or hiking or walking alone. And then if we have time for the third thing, I'm going to talk about yelling versus screaming. So the first thing, I get asked a ton, how do you teach children about safety and what are the kind of things you do? And one thing that I like to do in my house is we don't teach stranger danger, because stranger danger can be really confusing to a child. When they think of strangers, they can think of, oh, someone who looks scary or someone who looks homeless or dirty or someone that would frighten them. But statistics show that your child has a 90% likelihood that they could be abused or sexually assaulted within the home. And that means not necessarily your home, but your trusted circle of friends. So family members, close family friends, and all those type of things. So I teach my children tricky people. We want to stay away from tricky people. And what a tricky person is somebody that we could actually know. It could be somebody that we love. It could be a family member. It could be mom's really close friend. It could be an uncle. And what a tricky person does is they try to take you somewhere where mom and dad are not, or they try to tell you to keep a secret. In our house, we don't talk about secrets. We have surprises, but we don't have secrets. A tricky person could try to get you to do something that you feel uncomfortable with. A tricky person could touch you inappropriately, hurt you, all these different things. So I teach my kids the difference between stranger danger and tricky people. We don't talk about stranger danger because that could be really hard for a kid to understand who is a stranger and who is not. So anyone could be a tricky person if they do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So you just talk to your kids on the things that potentially someone could do to hurt them. And I found that's really, really helpful for my kids to learn. And I've gotten a lot of feedback from fellow moms that also helps them. The next thing I'm going to talk about is how to keep yourself safe while running or hiking or walking outside. Like I said, I was running alone when I was sexually assaulted, and that actually was the very first time in my whole life that I had ever ran alone. I grew up in a very safety conscious home. My mom taught us all about safety, and I never had run alone. But I had just moved out to college, and I thought, I found this new sense of freedom. I'm going to be just fine. I can tell I share my story in various platforms on podcasts and different places on Instagram, so I'm not going to get into that. But basically, I went running alone, and I was sexually assaulted. So since then, I don't love running alone just because of the experience I've had, but I have found myself more in the past 12 years needing to run or walk alone during this month's quarantine than in the past 12 years. I need to get out of my house. I need to get away from my kids. And I'm like, you know what? I have to go alone. And so I know that there's so many other women who obviously run and walk alone just daily, but especially now we need to be able to get away. So there's a couple things that you can do to keep yourself safer when you're running or walking or hiking alone. And the first thing is recognize that you potentially are making yourself more vulnerable when you're choosing to do so. So if you have the mindset of, hey, I'm running alone, I probably should try to take a buddy, but I can't. And because I'm running alone, I am making myself more of a target or more vulnerable. If you have that mindset, already you're on a way better start. The people who go out and think this will never happen to me, I'm fine, I live in Utah, I'm in the safest city, it's in the middle of the day, are going to be really oblivious to potential signs and threats that they could have caught on to avoid danger. So that's the first step. The second step is tell someone exactly where you're going and when you're going to be home. So that could be a spouse, a roommate, a mother, a father, whoever is an accountable adult. Tell them exactly where you're going and when you're going to be home. So in my example, I would tell my husband, Johnny, hey, Johnny, I'm going to go run 3 miles. I know that takes me about 30 minutes. I'm going around this location and I'll be home at 3:30. So when 3:30 comes around, he can call me immediately and check in and see if, I just decided to run a little bit more or something is wrong. Minutes count, especially when you are in a bad situation. You would hate to, have someone be like, oh, Robin went running. She left probably an hour ago, and then 10 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by, 30 minutes go by. Those minutes are super, super crucial. So I feel like this is something that you should always teach your children, like when you're walking to a friend's house or walking somewhere alone, you have to tell me when and where you're going to be home. But this is still relevant to grown adults. We are not the exception to the rule because we're mothers. We're not the exception to the rule because we've ran 50 races. Nobody is the exception to the rule. As adults, we still need to abide by the rules we teach our children, and that is telling someone where you'll be and when you'll be home. So once you've told your spouse or your roommate or an accountable adult, you're going to want to go somewhere that is very public. So a trail that has lots of houses around it, running on main roads. You're not going to want to go to places that are isolated or that people wouldn't be able to hear you if you yelled for help. That seems like a pretty, logical thing. Like everyone's like, well, duh. But so many times, even here in Utah County, I've seen women running alone when it's dark in like really, really scary places. And I want to pull over and be like, get in my car. But then they'd be like, no, stranger danger. So just be really thoughtful of where you're going. Another thing that I like to do is I like to carry pepper spray. Now, any personal safety device would be fine. I personally choose pepper spray. Some people like alarms, some people like to bring knuckles or different type of things. The reason I like pepper spray is because pepper spray is affordable and accessible to everyone. Here in Utah, it is legal for every single person. Even your 8-year-old could actually own pepper spray legally. Now, your 8-year-old could also own a pocket knife, but if they took that pocket knife to school, it's illegal. So just like pepper spray, your child could own pepper spray, but if they take it to school, it's illegal. So this is pepper spray. This one is my favorite brand. It's called Saber. You can get it on Amazon or directly through their website for less than $10. I do not feel like there's any reason anyone should not own pepper spray. It's up to you when you decide. Your daughters would want pepper spray, but I think around the age of 17 and 18 is a great time. If you have kids who are going to extracurricular activities or walking to early morning seminary alone and they're younger, then I would probably invest in this. So this is pepper spray. Everyone thinks it's a one-time use. It is not. All pepper sprays are different, but it's anywhere from 10 to 20 times. If you're gonna own pepper spray, you need to know how to use it. The first thing you would do when you buy it is take it out of the package, go outside on a non-windy day and try it out. If I need pepper spray and I'm being attacked and I go to shoot somebody and it's like, and it doesn't even hit them, it's not gonna do me any good. So I need to see how many feet this is gonna shoot. It'll say on the package, but if it says 20 feet, I don't know what that looks like unless I try it out. Pepper spray and pepper gel are a little bit different. Pepper gel is actually a little bit better, but either one. So you're gonna go out on a non-windy day, you're gonna hold the pepper spray at your chest or your hip. You're not gonna hold it out like this. Someone could take it and use it against you. So you're gonna hold your pepper spray close to you and shoot it out on a non-windy day. It's made to shoot for the eyes. So you're just gonna think ear to ear, and you're gonna, if you were to shoot someone, you would shoot in this general vicinity. It can go in your mouth, but that would just kind of taste funny. It's made to burn your eyes. So carrying something like this not only makes you feel more confident and prepared, but when you feel more confident and prepared, you act more confident and prepared, and that actually makes you less of a target. So even if you never plan on using this, just carrying it will make you feel prepared and you will carry yourself differently. So I encourage all women to have pepper spray. If you're gonna own it though, it cannot be in the bottom of your purse, your diaper bag, your backpack, your jockey box. It has to be with you. So I carry mine just right here with my keys. This is like a little wrist lanyard. So anytime I can flip it up and have it ready to go. It's of no use to you if it is in the bottom of your diaper bag. Pepper spray does expire. It's about every 1 to 2 years, but it's basically just like a can of aerosol hairspray. It'll just get less potent. So I don't throw mine away. I keep my newest pepper spray with me, and then I put my older ones in different places of my house. And then the last thing on pepper spray before I let the next speaker go is I get asked a ton, people say, are you nervous that your kids are gonna get into your pepper spray? Because I keep it with me at all times and I have really small children. No. First of all, if worst case scenario, they sprayed it in their eyes, you can take mayonnaise and lather on their eyes and it'll instantly take away the burn. It's not gonna hurt them. I mean, it is gonna hurt for a minute, but it's not gonna, permanently hurt them, which is also why I feel like this is a really great thing to carry. A lot of other people, they ask a lot, like, what do you think about carrying a gun versus pepper spray? That's a totally whole other topic, but guns are not forgivable. Pepper spray is. So if you accidentally, pepper spray someone, it's not going to be as permanent if you accidentally shot them. So back to this, I think it's really important. So I show my kids and I say, this is pepper spray. Mom would use it if someone was ever trying to hurt us. It's made to spray your eyes. You can smell it, and I'll let them smell it. It's very strong. And then I get a little dramatic and I'm like, if you touch this, it'll burn your eyes out and you'll be blind forever. I make it a little more dramatic, but my kids have not gone into it yet, and it's very important to carry this. And then the last thing on pepper spray is I also get asked a lot, do you think you're more of a target because you're showing potential threats that you have pepper spray so they could use it against you and hurt you? And I say absolutely not. If someone were looking at me as a potential target and saw that I had pepper spray, that would send a message that if the pepper spray failed me, I probably have other things in my arsenal that I could use because I'm prepared. I've obviously studied self-defense. I'm not naive, and I know that carrying this means that I could potentially have to use it. So if they took my pepper spray against me, it's likely that I could do something else, like gouge out their eye or break their nose or all these different things. So no, I don't think carrying it and letting them see would make you any less of or more of a target, I think it would make you less of a target. So that's my spiel on safety. Again, you can find me at A Fly on My Wall, which is on Instagram. And I give 2 safety tips a week. We do Tip Tuesday and Fight Back Friday. And then I do all other things like mom, and we dance, and it's crazy. You have to have a really good balance between talking about self-defense and safety, which can sometimes trigger or bring anxiety. So I back it up with a lot of fun stuff. So that's me, and I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. You guys, I love her. Go check her out. Her feed is just fun, and her dancing without the bra, like, hilarious. I'm like, that is so yes. So anyway, all the safety tips, write them down, talk to your kids about it, but just know that we're going to be doing a little bit more with Robin in the future. So just kind of keep that up in the back of your mind. So anyway, okay, our next speaker is going to be McKenna. She is going to be talking about journaling, and she has my Wonder Woman journal on Instagram, and we're going to put her down there just so you can find her. But McKenna, go ahead and unmute. RC, I'll do it.
Wait, am
okay,
I?
Good.
Hi.
Good, yay. Okay, so McKenna, go ahead and introduce yourself and let's talk about journaling, you guys.
Awesome. Okay, Robin, thank you so much. I have my journal right here, and I have been taking so many notes. I love how you said, not stranger danger, tricky people. I just like underlined that, and I just think all that you had to say is, I'm just over here like, yes, yes. I even lost my pen. I ran out. I'm like, I need a pen. I need to write more down. So thank you so much, Robin. I'm so excited. I can't wait to follow all your tips and everything, because it's so, gosh, it's amazing. So hi guys, my name is McKenna Brown. I too live in Utah County. I am a mother to 4. My oldest is 9 and 8. Then my second is 8. I have a 4-year-old and almost a 1.5-year-old. So 3 girls and a boy, and we're just a party. It's a party. It's what we say. We're just crazy. And through my postpartum, so let me back it up just a little bit. After the birth of my 4th, I suffered from extreme postpartum depression, and anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder. None of those things were treated correctly. And I want to see all of you guys. I'm trying to see, I hate talking to myself. I want to see if I can see all of you guys. Through all of that, I thought that I could take it on myself. And I wasn't educated enough on what a lot of the signs were. And because I wasn't treating myself properly, I wasn't taking the necessary steps to take care of myself. A lot of it manifested into postpartum rage. You know, and a lot of women don't talk about that. It is still something I've opened up about it, but it is a little embarrassing. Some of the things that I did when I was raging, and I actually ended up driving myself to the behavior hospital one day. And I just thought my kids were better off without me. I thought my husband deserved a better wife. I thought, you know, I can't live I just didn't want to be here anymore. And so, and there's a lot of tender mercies that happened that day, and I actually ended up in the hospital. So as I was super embarrassed about that as well. And but it was also not a day I want to relive. Not my proudest day, but I call it my bravest day. The day I decided to get help. In that fog, I found journaling. I've never been a journaler. I've always been told I should journal. I'm like, I ain't got time for that. I don't have time for that. I have sloppy handwriting. We talked about this the other day. I have horrible grammar. And when I realized that it doesn't matter, no one else is going to read it. And if they do, they won't be able to, because I have bad handwriting. And I don't have my high school English teacher over my shoulder giving me a grade. And when I released that self-judgment and insecurities, and I just started writing, my first journal entry was the day I drove myself to the behavior hospital. Anyways, I'm not gonna go off on that tangent, but that was the moment I found journaling and the release. And I found when I came home from the hospital, I was in my driveway in my neighborhood. We're all like, oh, Susie looks, you know, everyone's like puts on this perfect, which is great. And that's okay. But when my neighbor came up to me and she's like, McKenna, how was your weekend? I was like, it was awesome. I was at the behavior hospital. How was your weekend? And she was like, whoa, what? Like, it's not a joke. I'm like, no, seriously. Like, I drove myself to the behavior hospital, I had a mental breakdown and all these things. She lives 2 doors down from me. She told me something very personal that I no, she hadn't told anybody. And in that moment, I realized sharing our stories, that we're all going through our own struggles. We all have something going on in our lives. You might not have gone to the behavioral hospital, but you might have, suffered from whatever your story is. We all have a story and a journey. And when I released that and I started sharing my story with other women, they too started sharing their stories with me. So then I knew I had to start something. I had to start. And it turned into my Wonder Woman journal. And so I want to talk about what my Wonder Woman journal is and how I have used this. I don't have it figured out, guys. I do not have it figured out, but this has really helped me, especially in this time of quarantining. We already feel like we have to do it all. We already feel like we have all these to-do lists. A lot of us on here are entrepreneurs. A lot of us are trying to stay-at-home moms at work, or not even just staying at home. We feel a lot of pressure. Now the gyms aren't open. We're trying to be healthy. We have all these to work out at home. Everyone's doing all these things on Instagram. You can start to feel a little overwhelmed. Like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not good enough. I'm overwhelmed. I'm not a teacher. I'm a college dropout, guys. I did not go to school to become a teacher. I love my children so much, but they don't trust me. They're like, Mom, you can barely spell. I'm like, I know, touche. Anyways, I talk about what Wonder Woman moments are, because I truly believe that every person on this earth, every woman on this earth is a Wonder Woman. I say I self-shamed myself to the hospital. I self-shamed I wasn't doing enough. The days I couldn't get out of bed, I self-shamed I wasn't doing the dishes. The house was a mess. The laundry was up to my ears. All the things that we put pressure on ourselves to do and keep up on, I was falling short in every way. And I think we all feel like we fall short. But I talk about what I'm going to read to you. Here's my journal. This is what it looks like. It's very simple. It's a simple journal. But it talks about what Wonder Woman moments are. And there's 3 types of Wonder Woman moments, okay? The first one is embracing the hard. Embracing and recognizing. A lot of the times we just want to forget what we've been through. But we've been through things for a reason. And we're going through things for a reason, to learn a lesson. And because we're strong and we can do hard things. As much as I don't like to relive those moments. And sometimes I'm triggered by those still to this day, of those moments that I drove myself to the hospital. I like to remember that I survived that day. I survived that moment, and I'm stronger than I thought I was. I went through something hard, and I'm able to go back to my journal and read through those moments and think, wow, I lived that. And embracing that happened. It's not, and embracing that I am strong. So that's a Wonder Woman moment, is in learning to embrace the hard, that sometimes it's okay to just say, today sucks. That's it. And a lot of women message me, we Wonder Woman Wednesday, and they message me very heavy things. And I'm not here to tell them what to do. And I'm not here to say, I'm just here to help you and support you through your hard. The second one is recognizing the good that we are doing. Okay. The moments that I self-shamed that I couldn't get out of bed, my Wonder Woman moment that day was just breathing. I'm alive. I'm breathing. That is a Wonder Woman moment. And also saying, okay, I've done a lot of organizing this week, guys. I've organized my garage, my closet, but guess what? Everywhere else in my life has been struggling, like the dishes, the laundry, the things that I'm supposed to be keeping up on. And I'm self-shaming because I'm like, I can't keep up. How do we do all this? And all the pressures. And I'm like, okay, I have to recognize and take a minute, and I'll get my journal and I write down, McKenna, you just got rid of 13, this is almost embarrassing, I'm saying this out loud, 13 black trash bags of clothes. I know, I am McKenna Brown and I have a problem with shopping. So it's a problem. And I thought, okay, celebrate that that you organized the garage, and celebrate those moments. Like, okay, dishes are always going to be there. Laundry is always going to be there, but you need to recognize and celebrate, hey, I didn't shower today, but hey, I worked out. Or, hey, I showered, I didn't work. Whatever you are doing a fantastic job. And it's so hard because I call it a never-ending to-do list, okay? But above here are all the things we have gotten done. But for some reason, our minds are wired on, we don't recognize this part, all of the things we've succeeded at. We're only focusing on, I haven't done this, I need to do this. Okay, off to the next thing, off to the next thing. It's like, just take a minute, get a journal, and I say, write down your Wonder Woman moments. Okay, the next one is a Wonder Woman moment is learning to laugh at yourself and not take life too serious. And these are a few examples I always use. I've driven off with the gas pump, with my car twice, I know, in 6 weeks. I did it twice in 6 weeks. I have PTSD every single time, but I literally just ran in the gas station. I was like, it's me again. Hey guys, it's the same gas station. But guys, it just pops back on, so it's okay. I didn't, it's fine. But like, I remember being at the Linden pool and I just splurged on some sunglasses and I couldn't find them anywhere. And I was my husband's in the car at the kids and I'm running around and I'm like, I just bought these glasses. I'm so sad. I've lost them at the pool. But then I walked up to my car and they were on my head. Like a classic, where's my phone? I'm on it. Instead of self-shaming and learning to just say, wow, okay, I'm just going to laugh at myself and not take life too serious. Like when the moments we're taking life too serious, take a step back and just learn to like, not be, just laugh it off and move on. Right. Okay. And we get in these modes of self-shame, like, oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, I'm not smart enough. Oh, I didn't do that good enough. It's like, okay, it was like a kind of embarrassing moment of driving off at the gas pump, but just now I can laugh about it and it's just like, whatever, we're moving on. A lot of women have come to me and said, I don't know how to start to journal. I don't know where or how. I've never been a journaler. How do I begin? So I had this thought. I totally get it. I've been there. I've only been a journaler for I just had my 1-year anniversary of going to the behavior hospital for the last year. So I get it. I've been there. I know what it's like to not know how to journal, where to start, or incorporate it into your life because you're like, I don't have time. That's okay. Don't self-shame that you're not journaling every day. I would be lying if I said I journaled every single day, every day. What I'm saying is a great place to begin is by listing your gratitudes. And so in the last 4 months, I've incorporated gratitude as a Wonder Woman moment. I created a gratitude journal just to be specific. So you go and you know exactly what you're writing. And the hope is that as you go to journal and you're just writing by hand, it's forming a habit. And you're recognizing, oh, I'm writing. Okay. And I can do this. I can write in a journal. I can write my gratitudes down at the bottom of every page. You have like this much space. So it's not very intimidating. Some people are intimidated by a journal. Just a small, what was your Wonder Woman moment today? That's it. Boom. And my hope is that it's a stepping stone to then graduate into wanting something that's more blank. I made the journals 5x7, so I fit them in my purse. It's easy to travel with. I think the bigger journals are intimidating. So I wanted to create it. What would I have needed 2 years ago? So, what I love is, I tell people why and how did I find peace in journaling? I tell people it connects the heart and the brain. We have so many emotions, especially now in quarantine. For me, I'm speaking for myself. I have a lot of emotions. I have some great days. I have some not so great days. I'd be lying if I hadn't said I haven't yelled at my kids today. It's fine. I'd be lying if I didn't have unsettling emotions, especially the earthquake and all of that messed with my brain. But we have all these thoughts going through our minds and we're like, okay, and then you have all these feelings. And then I feel like we have anxiety and we start to get short fused. I call it bubbling water. It's a simmering pot of water. And that's how I explain it. Like I tell Scott, I just go like this. And he's like, okay, we've learned to identify when I'm feeling that way. And he just goes, go write. And I start to write down just how I'm feeling. And what happens is when we're having so many thoughts a minute, you can tell I'm a fast speaker. And so I have a lot of thoughts running through my mind. When I take a minute and grab the journal and open up, I slow down. And in that moment of slowing down, I'm thinking, oh, I'm fine. Oh, actually, I just had an idea. Okay, I need to try that. That's why I'm feeling that way. It actually triggered this. You start to have inspiration for yourself and you're thinking, okay, I understand why I'm thinking and feeling something because the journal has bridged those two together. And that's why I found a lot of peace in journaling, especially during quarantine. I just want to tell you guys that nobody is alone in this. We are all in this together, and it's so hard. And I'm telling myself this at the same time that I'm telling you, do not self-shame. You are doing a good job. You need to recognize the successes that you are doing through the day. Hey, my kids are running around naked and saying like, get dressed, do that. Cause I do that. I'm laughing. My kids are just running around naked. Like, okay. Like we were just learn to say, okay, some Wonder Woman moments. What have I done today? And guess what? Getting out of bed is a Wonder Woman moment. Guess what? if you haven't gotten out of bed, guess what? Breathing is a Wonder Woman moment. I promise if you can't find one, you message me. I will find one for you because you are a Wonder Woman. And I know that sounds so cheesy, but I truly believe that we're all Wonder Woman. And guess what? There's room for all of us to be Wonder Women. We all can do the same thing. We all can be doing different things, and there's room for all of us to succeed. And so if we all bound together and help each other recognize our Wonder Woman moments and recognizing that we are doing a good job, all of us, and we bound together to not only recognize yourself, but to help people next to you. I remember I went in, it's actually ironically at my psychiatrist's office. The receptionist was so shaming herself. I'm so sorry. And she kept apologizing. And I looked at her and I ran out to my car and I flopped a journal on the desk. I was like, girl, stop apologizing. You are a good person. You are doing an amazing job and you are a Wonder Woman. And she just started crying. And I'm like, I helped her recognize the amazing things that she was doing and the amazing things that we all are doing. And I'm going off on I call them McKenna tangents, but I just want you to know that quarantining is hard and there are going to be good days and there have been bad days. And there might be more bad days one week, but just know that you are not alone. And on my page, every Wednesday, we Wonder Woman Wednesday, and we help women celebrate. And everything's anonymous. And when I talked about it at the beginning of my story, when I shared my story and it helps someone else feel comfortable to share theirs, that's the hope, is that when you share your Wonder Woman moments with me, if you say you don't care if it's anonymous, I won't be anonymous, but I try to respect everybody. And we share it, and hopefully you feel comfortable and not alone through this unusual time. I call it unusual, crazy. And on my website, you can buy a journal, or I've been promoting other journal businesses the last couple weeks. So I'm like, it doesn't matter. You can have this one. You can have that one. You can have that. Who cares? Just get a piece of pen. Don't get a piece. Get a full pen and get a piece of paper and write how you're feeling. And I promise, and hopefully, anyways, there you go.
I love McKenna's Wonder Woman Wednesdays. I mean, because people share all different things, but yet you connect with a lot of those. So we're having the same thoughts a lot of the time, but you just don't think that, So go grab a journal, you guys. Grab a piece of paper, like she said. But I love you, McKenna. Thank you for sharing.
I love you.
Sharing the hard too, because it's there, and that's okay. That's okay. So. I'm going to let Amanda introduce our next speakers. So hop on in, guys. I'm going to mute out so we can.
Hey guys, I am super excited to introduce you guys to Kristen and Danny. They are they have a website called the Moments to Celebrate, right? Did I get it right? I always get it mixed up. The Moments to Celebrate, and they are both of them just raised of sunshine. And so I am so happy to have them here and to have them share with us their product and their mission and all the amazing things that they have.
Great, we're glad to be here.
Are we unmuted?
Yeah, you can hear us, right? Okay, good. First of all, we're still together because we've been quarantined. Yeah, we've been quarantining since the beginning.
Quarantine.
Yes. So since the beginning, we have been together. That is why we are still together, and you'll hear why in just a minute, why we have needed to be together. But I'm Kristen.
I'm Danny, and we are sisters. Yes, the same mom, same dad. I know we don't look anything alike. No one ever believes us. Actually, growing up, I always told them that I was adopted, and no one believed me.
Yeah, but we do have similar mannerisms, so you'll probably see that comparison. I'm not gonna lie, the last month has been exhausting. And a roller coaster. I have a house full of teenagers. I have 3 teenage daughters and a son that's in his 20s, and it's been hard. It's hard to contain those teenagers. They just think it doesn't affect them, and it's a roller coaster of emotions, and it's been tough. We had to cancel a trip to Kauai, which led to tears. Real tears by the girls. Luckily, that was all been rescheduled. So we're going to still do it, hopefully, in October, if we can go out in 5 years. I hope. But what was I going to tell you? I've lost my train of thought. Oh, but it's been a little crazy by being all together and under one roof and all the time. But some good things have happened and some not good things, right? Like it's some more fighting along the way. And I'll let Danny tell you a little about her house.
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, I think it's almost 5 weeks now. I had twins, And so I have 3 young ones plus 2 little babies. And that's why we're not quarantined because I can't do it by myself. I am used to being home with all my people, and I am going to go to the crazy town if I can't have help. So
Yeah, she's gonna start a journal.
I need a
She
journal.
definitely needs
Thanks,
to
McKenna.
I'll send you one.
I definitely need a journal.
Yeah, it's been crazy, but babies have been a bright spot of all this.
They
too.
really have. They came on like the weirdest quarantine day. I remember going in and they're like, okay, well, have you felt any of these symptoms? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is
Yeah,
this?
that was the first day of screening at the hospital. Was
Yeah.
the day she had the baby.
March 12th, my friends. I'm sure you guys went to the grocery store buying food. And I was like, oh, crap, we have no food at our house. And I can't go buy any.
It's been crazy. Yeah. But our business is all about celebrating the moments and taking the time to recognize the moments. And so after a couple weeks of hearing everything about Rona, that's what I like to call her, Rona. I had talked to Danny earlier in the day and I'm like, we've got to create something for our people. Let's make it free and we got to give them something that helps them see the good again. Like it was just so heavy. Life was so heavy. Just every day was a new change. Every day just felt like you were being sucked into this vortex, and I needed to pull my family out. So I'm like, we got to do something with gratitude. And Danny's like, yeah, let's figure this out. So it all started in my kitchen. I was making dinner and I had Spotify on, which is a normal thing. And a song came on that I just couldn't help but dance in my kitchen. I might have had a bra on. I don't really remember. Probably not. But I am known to dance in my kitchen all the time. And this song came on, and you would have danced to this song too. And everything just came together. It was, let's see if I dare sing it to you. I'm walking on sunshine. Wow. And that's where it all began. Tell them about it.
Okay, so we decided that we would design a sunshine that we could give sustainable to all of our customers, our friends, and share with our neighbors.
Anybody.
Anybody and everybody, so they could start remembering all of the things that we can grateful for. Instead journaling, but journaling on a paper that's not in a book.
And a sunshine, which always makes you feel happy, right? Sunshines and rainbows are all about happiness. Yeah, don't show those yet.
Okay.
In a minute. I'm going to show you the blank ones as we talk about it.
So we wanted to make it so it was something where you could write into the rays. So each of the rays are a place where you can write something you're grateful for. And just remember it. And it could be little things like a song that made you happy.
Her daughter put, what did your 4-year-old put? It was the cutest thing.
Was it?
It might have been Cheeto balls.
My kids love the Cheeto balls from Walmart, and so it probably
So
Cheeto
funny.
balls.
And we also have a colored version if you're not into coloring. Like you could put glitter on it. That would be happy for me. Glitter or just crayons. We use chalk, whatever you want. Or you can do one that's already colored. But you're gonna laugh. My printer is sad right now with color. So we got a pink sunshine today. Pink works, right? Anything's happy, but it's really yellow. When you actually, you can pick which one you want, in color or not color. Fill out the rays with gratitude for things that you love.
I was in the process of moving into a new house.
Which ones are, these are mine or my teenage daughters.
Music, baked goods, anyways, super fun. The idea is that you print this off, fill it out. You can do it as a family activity. You can do it as a personal activity. You can put it in your window so your neighbors can see it. You can put it on your fridge, you can put it on your mirror. So you can remember that you have things to be grateful for.
Yes, and you can even do it themed wise, like what are you grateful for just in quarantine? I mean, you could do it every week, or you could do even things that you can't wait to go do once you're out of quarantine. So things you're looking forward to. I mean, there's so many ways. I even think it'd be great to like print a bunch off, and now I'm going to do it now that I just thought of this, and put a stack on my neighbor's porch so that they can do it. Because at the top, it has some instructions. So they wouldn't be like, why did someone leave sunshine on my porch? They would know what it was about. And we would love it if you took a picture with your sunshine and used the hashtag Walking on Sunshine Project. There's some more information about that at the top. We have a Facebook group you can share it in that we are trying to promote feelings of gratitude during this time and just trying to get that spread out. It's a public group for anybody. Oh, how to get your sunshine. Let's talk about that. So I'll show you. I'm going to just get up onto our Instagram, which is the Moments to Celebrate on Instagram. Did you tag it on there? Sweet. Okay, let's see. Oh man, I'm in the basement and it's not wanting to work. Oh, here we go. And you'll get to our profile. Oh, sorry, I have my ring light and it's making a weird color. So in the profile, then you click the link right there. Yeah, take it off for a minute. And once you click the link, it's thinking that it's gonna come up. There it is. At the very top, it talks about the Zoom meeting. But right under that, it says Walking on Sunshine Project. Click that link and it will take you to the place you can get your 2 sunshines and print them out. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yes, it's super easy. Go print off however many you want. Tell your friends, share it. We would love to spread happiness. Oh yeah, there's the cute sunshine. Thanks, Amanda. So we'd love you to spread it with whoever, because I'm like McKenna said, we're all in this together. So let's make it happy instead of just heavy. Like, let's move on to something new. Let's move on to the positive and the happy. And yes, I think that's it, right?
That's
And we love to be here, so
I
thank
love
you.
it. Okay, let's see. Hopefully you guys have been able to do some kind of gratitude challenge in the past. So it's not this new idea, but yet I think it's the practice of actually doing it.
Agreed.
And what a cute way to have like a printable. What do your teenagers feel about it?
My teenagers thought it was fun, but we're super crafty and that it fits me and my girls. We're artsy and they've been missing art at school. So it was fun for them to choose which. I think they're way more artsy than I am, like really artsy. So I think which medium to use as they use their art. Am I going to do a paint? Am I going to do chalk? Yeah, so they're a lot more artsy than me, but it was fun doing it. And I think, well, I know actually it's changed their attitudes, because I always think gratitude changes attitude. So I don't think they realized that when they were filling it out, and that was my intention. I'm like, hey, we need this for our business. But it did change. They started seeing the things that they were thankful for, that at least they have siblings to hang out with. They can play games together. Like, yeah, they get on your nerves sometimes, but you can go to your room and shut your door and have some alone time. Or maybe they can take a walk by themselves after I get some pepper spray. Because
Yes.
that was some great tips. I have older kids, so I'm not as worried about the stranger danger part, because they do know. But I have 3 teenage daughters, so we talk about a lot of serious stuff and circumstances they could get into and not realize. And so pepper spray is now going to be the gift I buy today.
Well, and in the future for our event that Robin's going to be sharing at,
Yes,
we say bring your teenage daughters. Absolutely.
yes, totally going to do that. Like, I was very excited to hear about that. That was really great for me.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate just your fun and sharing what you have. We really appreciate it. And you're right. I love your quote, gratitude changes attitude.
It really
Definitely
does.
going to be writing that down somewhere. So, awesome. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to hop back in. Marcella, she is our next speaker. Marcella is with Love Woolies. If you guys haven't seen, they sew the cutest scrunchies that you put in your hair. I wish I could wear a scrunchie, but I got one for my daughter. But what I would love, what Marcella is sharing about today is taking your purpose and your passion, and sometimes you've got to tweak it. And she's going to share about what has happened in the last month with her business, and just how we all can learn to pivot and be of use where we can and give where we can. So go ahead and unmute. And if I need to, I will.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay. Okay, first I have to tell you that my husband is OCD, and he's been painting this room, and he like patched all the holes behind me, and it was like unacceptable for the wall to have patches on it. So instead of me being in front of a patchy wall, he like set up a sheet that looks like way better, right? Anyway, that's why I'm sitting in front of a sheet, because my husband was like, this is unacceptable. Okay, purpose and passion. So I really just want to tell you what has happened in the last 2 weeks. I'm running on no sleep and crackers, like almonds and string cheese, basically. I don't know where to start with this. Okay, let me back up a little bit for a second. So I have always had a passion for business. I've always had a passion for building something. It was never really about the product. It was just, I wanted to build something. I wanted to build something that like people could be excited about, that changed the world, really. And I've owned many different companies. I owned a toy company, and I loved that. I got to travel around with that, and it was like a global, I sold it internationally, and it was really fun, but like my toy wasn't going to change the world. And so I was always finding like, it was great, but it like was missing a piece for me. And then, I don't know, I did lots of things, like a blog and lots of different things. And then my parents started this company called Love Woolies, and they made mittens out of old wool sweaters, which is really neat and really great. And the product's really nice. But like, I'm not passionate about mittens. Like, that's not my thing. But it's a really great avenue to be able to like dump my heart and soul into, with like needing to build something. And they were like, here, just take it. So that was an easy route for me to like dump my passion in. And so I did. And about 3 years into that, I was like, this is exhausting. I don't like, mittens are great, but I don't wake up like thrilled to go like thrift shopping to make stuff out of old sweater. Like I was not excited, and I almost sold it until one day I dug really deep and had a very frank conversation with my heavenly parents. And I basically said, I am lacking some thrill here. I'm lacking some investment, and I'm lacking in feeling a purpose. And I'd really like to do what I was built to do. And the answer was very clear, then you stay. And I was a little mad. I was like, okay, but that's what I asked. I asked for a very clear answer, and my answer was you stay. And if you read Proverbs 31, there is a specific verse in there that says that this woman was a seeker of wool, and she made things with her hands. And there's like a whole nother story on how I came across that. But basically it was like a slap in the face, like, you will stay and you were built to do this, so thank you. And I was like, oh, great, we're making more mittens. So I kept doing it, and that was fine. And I rebranded it, and it was great. Well, then a year after that, the scrunchies came into play. And the scrunchies ended up being this thing where I ended up telling a story one day to like a group of young women about how we were taking this sweater, and this sweater once thought it was this perfect, beautiful sweater. And then things happened to it. Like I showed a hole, and I was like, the boyfriend broke up with you, and now you're kind of like not as great as you were before. And then you like failed your test, and now like, great, you're not as good. And eventually over life, you think like you're not a great sweater anymore, and you're not even worth anything. And then we talked about how like, if you can cut the holes out and look at the good pieces, then you can turn into something you never even imagined, like a beautiful scrunchie, right? And so we flip-flopped our entire message from like repurposing into reminding people you can find joy despite the flaws in your life. And that's when I was able to really feel like my passion and my purpose were coming together, because I felt really like I was built to say something, and that I had lived all these things, like gone through a divorce, and I have a teenage daughter that doesn't live with me, and like several different life experiences that I felt like were sometimes helpful to share. And now I was able to share those in finding joy in the flaws and build this company. And it just, in one fell swoop, it like smashed together, and there I was. And I was so, so glad that I just stayed, that I listened and I stayed, because I don't know that I could have found both purpose and passion together had I felt like I needed to choose one over the other. And so fast forward another year, here we are in quarantine. And It's hard for me to talk about this without being really emotional because one, I'm tired, and two, it's just so beyond me. So about 2 weeks ago, the CDC came out and said, hey, people should start making masks. And because we had basically thought that our company was going to get slower and slower, people weren't going to be buying scrunchies because it's not toilet paper. I mean, it would be really soft toilet paper, but it'd be very expensive. We sent everyone home. Everyone was working from home. Everyone was cutting stuff from home. Everyone was sewing from home. Everyone's already doing that anyway, but everyone was already home. And so when they said, let's make masks, I asked the team, like, hey, who would want to help? Like, just donate like 1,000 masks, and you can just pick up stuff from my porch, and everyone already is set up, so let's just do it. We already had the 9-inch elastics all cut, like hundreds of pieces of elastics cut, because we make scrunchies. So within 2 days, we had 500 masks made. It was beyond me. It was amazing. And within about a week and a half with volunteers, we had 1,500 masks. And then we somehow got linked up with this incredible another lady, Megan, from sewingforlives.com. You have to check it out. They basically are linking all the makers to the clinics that need them. So a clinic can go on and request masks, and makers can go on and say, I'll give 500 or I'll give 20. Like, it doesn't matter. And then they just say, here's the address, send the masks. And somehow I got linked up with Megan before it was even a website. It was like her little Google Doc. And before anyone knew about it, we were filling her requests. The second day into this, ABC4 News was at my house doing a story on this whole thing. And then 4 days after that, KSL came and did another story on us. And the third day in, I felt so overwhelmed. Like, there's no freaking way I can keep doing this. Like, we're doing all-nighters, everyone's sewing, everyone's like all in. It's crazy. And I thought, my kids, like, hadn't even seen them, but I'm here, but I haven't seen them for like ever. And I just thought, I'm way in over my head. My kids need me. There's no way I can keep doing this. What have I gotten myself into? And I just like literally sat on the floor in the middle of this crazy pile of sweaters that I still have and just cried to my heavenly parents again, just saying, like, what, like, am I crazy? Have I just gotten myself into something that I'm going to end up abandoning my family and not doing what you actually need me to do, but I'm just needing to be busy to, like, not be in quarantine, right? And it was very clear to me, like, no, like, your family's going to be fine, but I need you to do this. And in that moment, I realized, like, I'm a part of something that is way beyond me, because I was right. Like, I cannot do this. And now within a week, we've hired like 20 girls to sew from their own home. I get notes all day from these girls just saying, like, thank you, because I haven't even had time to check the news. And like, my whole family's helping. I get like Marco Polos of like the kids, like, matching the pieces together, and husbands are ironing, and like the whole family is all in. And people are able to like supplement their income because of this thing. And it's just been unbelievable. We have donated over 6,000 masks at this point, and are now working with like huge organizations to get more masks made. And it just is unreal. And last month, because you're all like entrepreneurs, I'm just gonna be really upfront, because I think it's really fun to like know people's numbers. Like, that's what I want to know when I get on people's things. Last month we did our biggest month we've ever did, and it was 10,000. We've never even come close. Like, and that's just scrunchies. Like, I was so stoked. We were like, we're going to Disneyland. Like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, it was a big deal. I've never seen that. And I worked like in business for a really, like, my whole life, and I've never seen a $10,000 month. We did 10,000 in 2 days when we started selling the masks. And so you can imagine what this month looks like. Like, I don't even check my numbers because my brain can't like compute what is happening. And
like, I want to say, I mean, that's what happens. This is why I had Marcella on, because I knew this story, but that's what happens when you follow your purpose and your passion and you are willing to choose to be all in. Because she could have said, no, I can't handle that, that's too much, but she chose. Like, that's what happens. And it's not just about business. I love when you said it's about so much more than just me.
Yeah, so true. So I wanted to just touch on like two really, or maybe three really quick points as to why I think I'm sitting where I'm sitting. Over the last year, 2 years ago, I recognized that I had an addiction, and I am a food addict. And no one would ever know this because I've never been obese. I'm not anorexic. I look like a regular person that's like eats regular. I don't. I am fully consumed with this addiction. And when I finally understood that it was as bad as it is, I went through this 12-step addiction recovery program. And this sounds like really disconnected, but because I went through that program, it helped me understand how to let go of things being my way and how to set aside things that I thought should be this way or that way. And it helped me look at ways that I can just simply show up and ask, how can I be helpful here? Because what was happening in my business before is that I would decide I want to make $10,000, and I would take it upon myself to do what I thought equaled $10,000 for the month. And I would run ragged and I would just be crazy to be able to make that happen. And I never set aside time for miracles. I never set aside time to step back and think like, where should I be? How can I be useful like to the world? I just decided like, no, I need to make the $10,000 and this is what I need to do to be able to do that. And that's my passion. And that's how I'm going to do it. And then two things would happen. I wouldn't meet it. So then I would beat myself up for not being good enough, or I just get mad that it wasn't happening. And once I started introducing what I had learned to let go of my addiction into my business, where instead of being like, this is what I want and here are all the ways to do it, I would stop and be like, you know what? Where does God need me today in my business? If he's going to use this to be of good in the world, where should I be? And sometimes it's not at the computer. Sometimes it's not on social media. Sometimes it is. But it's just a matter of listening and being where you can be of the most helpful to God, basically, is where I ended up being with my business. And once I set myself aside, that is when things started actually working with less effort. Some things that are helpful to me is to ask myself, how can I be useful? So when things don't work out the way I want them to be, I just ask myself, like, how can I be useful to this situation? So for instance, like today, a bunch of masks showed up, all messed up. And I was like, like I really needed these to go out. And then I stopped and I looked at them and I realized, okay, how can I be useful to this situation? Like one, I can call the maker and say like, hey, like this is how we're doing it. But then I stopped and I looked at them and I realized that the way that they had been done, because they were done wrong, they ended up going in a separate category and they ended up filling orders that actually needed to be filled. So it was like a miracle, but like if I wouldn't have stopped for a second to like look at it, I would have missed it and I would have been just mad. The other thing that I wrote down is that you can get really, really frazzled when you're trying to create something bigger than you. And it takes intentional pause to allow things to happen. And so when you're feeling that, I know all of you on here do this, where you're like, get something that either went wrong and you're like rolling through it, and it's getting bigger and bigger, or something exciting happened and you're rolling through it and it's getting bigger and bigger. And either way, it becomes all consuming, right? So if you can stop for 1 second, just whatever you need to do, like put your hands on the counter, like put your hands on your face, like whatever you need to do to like stop just for like 1 second and ask yourself, either if you're so excited or you're depressed, it doesn't matter either way, but ask yourself this: what would I be doing without these thoughts? So if you're super frustrated and it's stopping you from being who you need to be in that moment, like maybe you should just be making dinner. Maybe you should just be listening to your kids tell you about like this cool Lego thing that they just built. But you're so like excited about this crazy thing that's going on that you're like calling all your friends, and you're like, or you're depressed and you're frustrated, so you're calling your mom and like talk. Like, just stop for a second. What would you be doing without the thought? And simply do that, because these things that are coming to you, they'll just happen and they'll just be, and God will just let them go, and you'll just be along for the ride. You don't need to actually do anything with them. So just stop, ask yourself, what would I be without this thought? What would I be doing? And then just go along and do that, and let the crazy like set aside and let life just happen. There's 2 books that I recommend. A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. So good. So good, because one, he's talking from finding purpose in the middle of the Holocaust. And not to compare quarantine to Holocaust, but sometimes it's really hard to find purpose when you're like literally just sitting in doing nothing, right? So I think that that's really pertinent to our time. And then a book I just read called, I want to say Untethered Soul, but it's the other book that he wrote. It's not Untethered Soul, it's the other one that's called, anybody? Dang it. It's okay. I should have written it down. Okay, well, I'll find it. Hold on. Anyway, those are my 2 books that I totally recommend that have been near and dear to me, that have helped me get to where I'm at. And with that, I just want to say that your passion literally was built in you. Your passion is not something that you go find. It was built in you. You've had it all along. And it is there to change literally the world. And the way you find your passion is you simply just follow your joy. Your joy is your path to what you were built to do. And we were all built to do things very, very differently. And thankfully, right, there's room for everyone to do theirs as big as you can. And the world needs it more than ever right now. And with that, thank you so much for letting me be here.
Thank you so much, Marcella. Like, I just thank you all of you to being on. We wanted to do this so that you could take something, even if it was one small thing that could help your day be better, help tomorrow be better. I just, I have a page of notes. So I just want to say thank you to all that was on. And I appreciate your friendship and the women that come together in our community. That is a big pull for me, is bringing us together to lift and inspire. And if you want to see more from each one of these women, go check out what they have online, their Instagram, because they're worth your time, right? Because where we don't have a lot of time and we have so many options, these women are worth your time. I just want to say thank you again to Amanda for helping me put this together. We have a new venture that we're coming into as we do more events for women. I've done them for several years, but go check out Women Celebrating Women Utah. And this isn't just for women in Utah, but we had that as a name because Instagram that's what we had. But I want you to know that my passion for us coming together is that we lift and inspire one another. You each have a purpose and something to share, and you will each get a chance at some point to share that. And it's up to you to choose whether or not you do so. But I want you to know that I'm affected and everyone around you is by who you are. I love your quote, McKenna, Marcella, that your passion was built in you. It was there all along. I really love that. And that's true for each one of you. So we love you guys. And we just want to say thanks for being on. And next week, we're going to be focusing all on business topics because we have a lot of women that are entrepreneurs or working moms or trying to do a side hustle. So we're going to be focusing on that next week, Thursday, 1:00 p.m. But we just thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, I'm staying on if anyone wants to chat. I wanted to end the recording, so if anyone wants to share that you didn't feel like you were getting, let's see.
McKenna, do I know you? Did you used to go to Vasa and do, yeah, I was like, I know you from there.